All right, so I'm going to share with you right now a behind the scenes training, a consultation that I just did with an amazing coach wanting to build his online business, wanting to be able to go from $30,000 a month to the $1 million a month mark. So firstly, I would like to say a huge thank you to Jeremy for allowing us to actually share this with you right now, because we do go into some personal stuff. This is literally the process that we go through with members, with clients when it comes to them wanting to successfully build their online business. And I want to share this with you right now because it shows you what the most important questions are, what the most important things you need to be doing to actually get there. And you'll see what we're going to break down in just a second is understanding where are you right now, how much money do you want to be making, what do you want to be selling, do we understand how to actually get leads, do we understand how to actually make those sales, and what do the rough numbers need to look like so we don't just have some big airy fairy kind of idea or goal, but we actually have a tangible plan. Because every time that we do this with members, we want everyone walking away with 3 to 5 projects, knowing what they need to do in the next 90 days. And you'll see exactly the 5 projects that Jeremy's walking away with to make sure that he, in the next 90 days, has a plan to be able to hit the $1 million mark this year as well. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope you use everything that we can possibly put down for you to be able to pick up. All right, brother, let's hit the ground running right now. So in a nutshell, let's go through where are you currently and where do you want to go? So currently, and obviously there's a bunch of different things that you're doing right now, but we want to focus on the online side of things.
Yes.
Give me a bit of an update of where we are right now.
So I've been doing a lot of one-on-one consulting, business consulting, overall life coaching. So health, wealth, relationships. And I've been doing that for about 20 years. Previously, I've had a gym business that I closed and then opened back up. And it really has struggled during COVID. So really looking at making some moves into the online space and transitioning away from as much one-to-one, which I do love, but more into the group one-to-many model. In terms of where I'm at now, it's around 30K a month. Some months better, some months, but that's kind of the average. And I've set a goal for overall about $1 million for the year. And specifically, and this is where I'm really excited to talk to you about, is just the different strategies, whether I should be looking at selling from virtual events, whether I should be looking at creating some other assets. I do have some other assets I'm creating. So that's, before we go too far down the rabbit hole, that's roughly where I am now.
This is great. Let's keep going down that rabbit hole. When it comes to in your head right now to go from where you are to the $1 million for the year, what are the things you think that you could be or should be doing? Like, just brain dump me the kind of things that you think you want to do to get there.
Okay, so I have a book that I'm completing that is really targeted into the niche that I'm focusing on. Ideally, that set up as a self-liquidating offer, just to generate goodwill and results in advance and all of that side of things. I would like to, I'm thinking of doing at least 3, ideally 4 5-day challenges. Again, just to build that goodwill with an offer at either in the middle or in the end or at different points throughout the program. I will need to set up a VA. I've previously worked with VAs, so I am familiar with that, and probably hire a setter or 2 and potentially a salesperson. I need to fine tune my avatar because I tend to, what I need to do is really narrow it down. I can work with a lot of different people, but I think to really make the mark, I've really got to narrow in on a specific avatar. And again, that would be really helpful because it's, when you're a coach and you do work with people, but you still need coaching. So I really appreciate your your expertise in this. So yeah, really need to dial the avatar in, and all of that comes from there. Then the messaging, really speaking the language of that ideal avatar, positioning the problem, making a really good promise and value stack, high value offer, because
Yep.
the big part of that's the offer. Really just dialing that in. I think that even just that, like that would be heaps. A lot of the technical side, the other stuff I've got a handle around, but just
Amazing.
brainstorming through, just dialing that in, because that's a huge part of making it work.
So why don't we say, let's set 2 intentions for this call then. Number one, we get clear on what do you need to do to generate the sales, and then 2, what is actually a sale and what are the like back of the napkin math to make sure you hit them. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's work backwards then. Let's do the back of the napkin math. What do you want to be selling? Like kind of
25K offer, 25K offer. And if I'm using the event model, I'd like to sell 12 people each of those, let's say 4 events, 12 people into that offer. And then other mechanisms for sales would be a free Facebook group.
Yep.
And using a lead magnet to call.
Hang on, let's take one step backwards.
Okay.
No, I love where you're going, but we will get there. The sale, right, for a 20K offer is the event. Are you selling on the actual event, or is the event getting a person to say book a call to then get sold through a call?
Great question. I'm open to both. Usually in the past, when I've done events, it's been to book a call with me or one other salesperson. So I'm familiar with that. I'm trying to push myself a bit this year. So it would actually be a good skill to develop, to be able to make an offer and just sell it straight from the call. So I'm open to both. And obviously the back end of events is really good too, following up and positioning a call as well. But it would be good to do both, like have maybe an early bird jump in now incentive. And again, I'm just brain dumping with you. And then maybe have a call option for those that need to speak through the offer in more detail and go through an actual brainstorm process as to whether or not it's a fit.
Dude, I love this. Let's make this really easy. If this was the case where you were like, I want to do an event and sell the 25K offer on the actual event. So it would be like, let's say the event to delivery, right? I would say, let's probably stop the call now and talk to like Eli Wild or something like that. Talk to someone that's actually like selling that sort of stuff. But I think a better model would be you use the event to build goodwill with the marketplace, showcase yourself, they book a call from the event, and then we deliver that. So the event, as like what I'm trying to highlight here, is like the event is actually just going to be one thing that's a part of the traffic source. And we'll probably want to say have, if I could be honest, and what I see working now, I would do this, and I would say it's an event as one traffic source. I would say the next one is like a VSL, a webinar, a video where people are opting into, and I'd use the book. I'd do these 3.
Beautiful.
I'd make that really simple.
It's nice and clear.
Honestly, this is just my 2 cents with what I'm picking up. Fuck the challenge off. No need for it, right? If we come back to here, the event. So one question we're not going to solve today, but we know that we have to solve is how do we build the event and get people to opt into the event, show up to the event? that's super simple. Like it's simple and we can get that covered. The second one is the VSL. Dude, this is super simple. Like I think, to be perfectly honest, the two best things to do would be the VSL and the book, right? And that's what we're currently doing. And it works because you give so much value to it. And like, that's just what I see working right now. So there'd be that. The book, I would, so you said self-liquidating,
Yep.
100%. So if you look at what we did with, say, my last book, the exactly what to do, what I did was I did the book, I did the audio book, and I bundled it with like tons of trainings. Like I just wanted to make it so much of a no-brainer of an offer, whereas like it's $27 and you get a really good quality book, but you get like everything that I think is practical to then link the book to making it like, this is what you actually do. Actually, I was literally talking to one of our team members this morning, and he was saying that someone's just gone through that and the course and they're already booking calls and making sales of it. I'm like, that's great. Do you know what I mean? Like they're getting a tangible results. And
that's
all
awesome.
they've done is paid $27 for a book. Like I think that's epic. So I think they're really simple and high end. So in my brain, I've got to do this. I've got to number it. So that's project 1, that's project 2, that's project 3. Oops. This is going to be project 4, which is the setter, right? So you said getting a VA and a setter. I think that's critical because especially like, let's say, actually, well, with all 3, but let's just use the VSL as an example, is you're going to get people to be able to opt in for the VSL. Like we've got it down to like $4 opt-ins for a VSL at fairly good quality of a lead. However, it really only works well when you have a setter doing the setting for you, like the nurturing of it. Because like, and this is where I've learned from Cole Gordon so well, is a case of someone opts in to say your webinar, the notification pops up. You want someone calling them within 5 minutes and be like, hey, Jeremy, I just saw that you got access to the 10K course. I just want to make sure, like, did you get inside? And the person's going to be like, oh my God, like it's a real person actually wanting to make sure that number one, their goal is to help them do what they need to do with what they follow through with. Then it's, if they're a good fit, book them in for a triage call, which then goes to the sales coach. So I actually see the sales process. So if we looked at this section down here, dude, let me just make a new section for it to make it easier. So we did offer. Let's do the sales system, where it's going to be the book call. And then they move over to the, let's call it triage. Yeah. Then they go to the strat. Jesus, my handwriting's getting worse, but it's all good. And then they go to sale, right? So you've got someone in this section here, let's say with your VSL opting in. We're getting someone, the setter, that's going to make sure that you're pushing them to get on a call if they're a good fit. So you want them, Jeremy, to make sure that the setter's doing the speed to lead. So trying to get in contact with them as fast as possible.
Yeah, because they're hot.
It was something like, if you can contact a lead within 5 minutes compared to 60 minutes of when they actually take an action, it's something like at least 10 times more calls you will get booked.
Wow.
Right? Same ad spend, just faster. That's all it is. 10 times more calls getting booked. So that's why I think the setter is so critical, and like having a team member be able to do that. But if we come back to the sales system here, it's the booking the call gets done with the setter. They hand it off to what I call a triage coach that then hands it off to the closer. So it's a 3-person team, and then they're just hyper specific to what it is they need to be doing, right? So this guy here, the setter, he knows he just needs to be able to be in contact with people, doing the DMs, ringing people, like blah, blah, blah. That's super simple. I was actually quite literally right before this call, I was updating these SOPs for our team members here.
Yeah.
Triage, this coach is just making sure that they're qualified, right? Holding 15, 20-minute calls and making sure they're good. And then they get handed off to the person that does the proper, like, all right, let's go through the actual process from there. Does that make sense?
Yep. That's great. And it was cool when I opted in for your, that's exactly what happened. I think your 10K program, I was like, 5 minutes, bing, my phone went. I'm like, that is awesome.
Sweet. There you go. This shit works. Okay. So can we break down the numbers a little bit more? So let me do this here. So the goal is 1 million and we're selling a 25K, Jesus. 25K offer. We need 40 clients. Now, let's do this. Pipeline. How do we actually turn the mystical and magical into the real? The way I roughly see it, right? And this will change, but I think if we have at least some rough numbers to be able to break it down, I do it like this. I know there's plenty of other people do it other ways. Let's say we need, I'm going to work backwards. So we need 40 sales. The next before that is how many strategy calls you have. The next before that is how many triages you have. The next before that is booked. The next before that is opt-ins. So someone opts into the event, the book, the webinar, whatever. Oh shit, I didn't even know you could make that, whatever. Ooh. Then they actually book in for the call. Then they've got to show up for the call. Then they get passed along to the strategy and then they actually get sold, right? Now, if we did this, these are the way I see the numbers break down. Actually, so let's say we want 40 sales. On a strategy, I want to see at least a 70% closing rate. On triages, we want 70% of people that are getting on the triages to then moving towards the strategy. Now, if we really try and push things like the show up rates, these differ quite a bit, dude. Like I'd say if you're getting a 60% show up rate and you're pushing ad spend, I think you're laughing from there. And then opt-ins, 10%. So 10% of the opt-ins go to booking a call. The people that book a call, 60% of those people show up to the triage. 70% of those people then go to the strategy. 70% of those people will then actually buy. This document, I start with a client to like find out what's their actual, like, how do we get them to financial freedom? But you'll see the way we make it practical. So like this person was like, I want to have $250,000 a year passive income. That means I need $5 million of invested cash producing assets. Where's the business at now? Blah, 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 blah.
Beautiful.
This have to work out. Okay, this is what we want to look at. Here, okay. So see, this person had 80, 70, 70, right? So let's change this and say we need 70. And I'll just change the top one to 60 and let's see what numbers it spits out at us. Okay, now granted, this client is actually looking for 333 sales, right? But you can see blah, blah, blah. It works out they need 1,133 applications. This one was, so you see here, they're starting here at like nearly 45 grand a month. If we hit our sales targets of having 61 applications a month, 72 triages calls, 34, let's say strategies, and we're signing up 19 clients a month, Do you know what I mean? If we follow that all the way through for 12 months, we go from 45K a month to 107K a month, right? So we kind of like just have a rough idea of what's going on. So in your case from here, we would just say, like, we bring this back out here and let's do the math for you, dude. So let's make it, let's do even worse. So let's call it 55 strategies. Let's call it 75 triages. Let's make it 120 books. And then let's call it 1,200 opt-ins, right? And so then let's say worst case scenario then, Jeremy, if we're getting $5 opt-ins, let's call it. Do you know what I mean? That's $6,000 worth of ads to get there. Does that make sense? Rough numbers to make sure we're there. So pipeline wise, when I get you to think about what does this section have to look like, it's that. Have that system in place, right? And then you've just got the actual sales process in. So if we try and work backwards from what we've covered so far, we go, Jeremy needs to, number one, holding events 4 times a year. Can we get people to opt into it, show up for it, and stay on it? That's number one. Number two, record the VSL and get the literally landing page for the opt-ins, get them a broadcast page and have the email follow-up sequence after that set up. The book, finish the book off, create the sales page and create the upsells for it as well. Because that's where so much of the actual money is actually made, in those upsells. From there, fourth project, get the setter on board so all the leads are then getting nurtured and you're not having to touch that stuff from there. And then I would actually say the fifth project would have to be the sales. And do you have your sales pipeline set up so then eventually you don't have to do it? All right, dude, I think we knocked it out of the park. Is that good?
Beautiful. That's brilliant.